Okay, hi guys. Next video is about sharing what I have learned in rebuilding my life and my businesses. So, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are watching this from. So, the first time I built my own business, literally quit my 9 to 5, or how can I say, my hospitality when I was still in the hotel and hospitality. So, thinking about starting my own business, I had no idea like what to do, how to do it, when to do it. The only thing I knew is to take advice from someone who already has a business. I mean, it seems quite logical and wise, and everything worked well. And then COVID happened and I restarted everything again. And the second time round, when I built the same business, which in a later video I will kind of get down to the nitty gritty in terms of what industry I'm in. But to get back to the point, is this is now my third time rebuilding this particular business. And the second time round, I listened to the same person because it's quite obvious that this person has been running his own business quite successful for nearly 30 years. And only by losing it for the second time did I realize how to be sure next time round to listen to actual people who has the business experience in the same industry, because of the vast difference of industry we were operating in. Some of the principles applied differently to the type of business industries that I was taking at the time advice from the particular person. Okay, so at the end of the day, guys, whether you are in the teaching, whether you're a preacher, whether you're a coach, whether you're an emergency nurse at a hospital, whether you're a doctor, the point is, wherever you are, we are all people. If you are the boss of a company or the CEO or just the investor or the partner or the employee that sweeps and mops the floors, we are all people at the end of the day. And now rebuilding my business and my life for the third time, I am deciding to do things very differently because now I have only myself to blame and only I can take the credit if I do succeed. The most important and most exciting thing for me, guys, right now is the fact that I am not successful. Okay. But I am very successful at what does not work. Okay, so I've learned my lesson and I am showing up today, tomorrow, for basically the rest of my life, showing up for people who are looking for people who are really going through the real thing. This is the real deal, guys. Because yes, I've read over, I don't know, 500 books about the most successful people, about how to start your business, how to launch your products, how to create courses, how to create content, all of these things. But the bottom line is they've written these books after their success. They've done all these wonderful things after their success. You won't find, maybe you will, but I didn't. While I was searching for taking advice from people that have what I want in life, I came to the realization that it is true what they say eventually. But what about the things that go on when nothing is working? When your electricity gets switched off? When everyone you talk to about your dreams and your aspirations are thinking so low about whether you could achieve it or not. And it always comes down to the money part of the thing. So that's me in the sense of starting right now when I don't have the success, when I don't have the followers, and I don't have literally the frameworks and how can I say the strategy to go from here, because this is really an arena that I have not yet mastered, is literally getting people to look at the things that are missing in plain sight before you get to the success. So I'll leave you with this, guys. If you have ever thought about quitting your 9 to 5 job, or thinking about starting your own business, or becoming an entrepreneur, or working from home, whether those have crossed your mind, regardless of the industry, this is how I am going to change my business in terms of the future and the clients that I am going to serve. So the biggest mistake I have learned through these business applications that I've done in the past turns out to the most foundational thing about your business, and that is your model, your actual business model. So you might have a service that you are currently doing and you charge a rate for that service, whether you charge per hour or whether you charge per course. And let's say, for example, the outcome of that is the promise you make to your customer. But at the end of the day, guys, regardless of how many clients you have and how much you charge per client, it's might going to work right now to pay your bills, to put food on the table. In 10 years' time, that same model won't work, because everything by 10 years from now would have gone up by nearly 7 or 14% just by the inflation rate. So if you have been working out how to actually do this while you are in a 9 to 5 job and you work overtime in the sense of working on this business that you have been thinking about building while you're done after work, you're tired, you're exhausted, it's less sleep, it's all of these things play in the sense of how productive you can be. And the point I'm trying to make, guys, is whatever you are busy doing now, it might be sufficient for the moment now and the cost of living and education for your children, putting food on the table, paying the bills, etc. But 10 years from now, it's not going to be enough. So this is why I've decided I'm starting this totally different than what I've used to, or what I've done 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when I stepped into the entrepreneurial space and a sole proprietor kind of thing. So the model I used when I started my business the first time was literally, in a sense, this mindset trap about getting paid per hour or getting paid per class or per consultation or per lesson or whatever you want to call it. And at the end of the day, the cost of running the type of facility that I needed to run in order to sell those services turned out that the actual client was, I was paying the client to join my services, basically. So at the end of the day, and after about 4.5 years of operating like this, it started to turn into a snowball effect that I didn't foresee in 5 or 6 years' time, because the cost of running this type of facility just went up and up and up and up, yet my value of my service didn't go up and up and up. So I always had to justify in the sense, okay, well, if you come for once a week, that's the price. If you come twice a week, that's the price. If you want to do, a 3 month course, that's the price. But it didn't equal to the actual cost of how much it's costing me to be able to offer that type of service for my customers. So that was the first time. The second time round, I still followed the same model in the sense of charging per session. So, for example, if a client would approach me and they wanted me to teach their child something, then I would say, okay, well, I can do it in 16 lessons, and that's how much it's going to cost. Whether that was for the month or whether it took me 3 months, that's the price. So, once again, if you just kind of visualize what I'm talking about in the sense of, okay, I got the result for the client, but to get the result to that client costed me nearly 3 times as what I've charged. Okay. When you do the calculation of the actual service that you provide and the cost that it's actually going to cost you at the end of the day, not necessarily the end of one program per client or course per client. So this, guys, be careful in the sense of what industry I'm talking about. This is not a digital course I'm talking about. This is actually a physical facility I have to run in order to provide the service to my customer and my clients. Okay, so that was also the thing I was stuck at, because I was keeping everything small in terms of the customers that can actually get to my facility. Okay, so now that also didn't work out in terms of going back to the snowball effect of the cost of the operation to offer the service eventually caught up with the income that I didn't make. Okay, so yes, I made income, I paid the bills, I was able to carry the cost of running the facility, but it costed me more that I had to actually invest in more cash flow and more loans and debt to keep the facility up and running in order to offer the same service at that price. Okay, so that was the second time around. Now, the third time around, I thought to myself, you know what, this is not working. Something in here is literally showing me clear as daylight that I cannot carry on with this type of model. And this is where my research started in terms of looking at franchise models and thinking to myself, okay, well, they had to start somewhere. They had one branch, and some of these multi-franchise brands have now got like over thousands, 10,000s of branches. And it is something that I missed in the moment, because yes, I have my first branch, my first facility, and I was trying to copy and duplicate the processes that wasn't working. Okay. And this is why the second time round, it fell even faster than the first time round. So I changed everything on the third time. This time I went in with a clear fixed price, whether you come for whatever service I offer at the facility, it's one fixed price. Whether it's a parent that brought their child, whether it's an adult that just came for themselves, or the granny, the adult brought the granny or the grandfather or something like that, or a friend brought a friend, the price was the same. So it's a fixed fee, and it was not tied to the particular number of sessions or classes or consultations or coaching sessions that my clients got in, say, let's say for a month, for example. So this model, within 6 weeks of opening the business again for the third time, shot up with nearly 40% increase in client. I started with 9 clients, and within 6 weeks, I had 30 clients. So that just showed me I am on the correct path Okay, my love, I can help you. Where are you stuck? Shut down. Oh, my little one. So anyway, getting back to the what showed me about the fixed fee model. Regardless of the service you provide, it's the same fee across the board. And now the issue that I am having, because I've been doing the same business now for the third time, I actually have to step a little bit back and now educate my clients on the new model because they are still in the old mindset about, okay, well, I'm going to pay this amount. How many classes am I going to get? So it makes me step into a different position as the operator or the owner or something like that, the whatever you want to call me, whatever title you want to put up to me, is now I need to step into a more a standard operation of procedure in teaching my clients that it doesn't work like that anymore. This is how it works from now on. At the end of the day, the customer or the client still gets the same result. Okay. However, the cost of running the facility, I'm now basically breaking even for the first time in 6 months. Okay. Right. That is kind of the last 12 years in 10 minutes, I think. How much did I do? Yeah, 10 minutes. So now let's move forward, guys. And I'm going to, in the next couple of videos, walk you guys through on the mistakes I've made with the particular model and why it doesn't work, and what I believe is working now on the new model that I'm kind of testing out, but I'm really 100% certain that this is going to be the model that can scale my business. Okay, so I'm going to end off with this, guys. The very most important thing about if you have been thinking about starting your own business is be mindful about who you take advice from in terms of the industry that you are in. So the person that you are asking for business advice and foundational principles in starting your business, are they in the same industry? And if they are in the same industry, what kind of results are they getting? Look at their lifestyle. Look at how they actually treat their employees and how they treat their customers. Look at the way they handle, like, for example, the, the type of dynamic between employee and customer. Okay? Because if you don't resonate and your values with this particular person does not align with where you are thinking of going with your business that you want to start, and you have your reasons why you want to start it, then review everything that person has told you in terms of the industry that you are choosing to go into. It's very important, guys. There's a reason why there are niches, and you have to narrow down who you are kind of targeting as your customer. Okay. So, ending off, second note is what I'm loving the most about this journey that I decided to kind of force myself into doing is I don't have anything to lose at this very moment. I don't have anything in the sense to gain as well with what I'm doing. I only decided to show up. And by showing up, I know somewhere out there, someone is going to see this in real time, really going through the crux of the whole thing about life and how to succeed and how to not give up, that something is driving you consistently in terms of there must be something more, there must be something I'm missing. Okay. And the only way I could have get to this point is by going through everything that I have been going through. So now I can look back and say, oh, okay, that's why that didn't work. But in the moment, 5 years or 10 years ago, in the moment, it did seem to work. But the point I missed is that snowball effect of eventually leaving the most critical thing that would lead to an inevitable downfall. Okay. And only by living through those mistakes can I now actually stand up and say, okay, obviously that doesn't work because I've done it now twice. Okay. So I have to change things. And this can be the same thing in your life, guys, where you get to a point where you stop doing what doesn't work. Okay. And that is the second tip in terms of start before you are ready and make sure you don't repeat the stuff that does not work. Okay. So that's me over and out, guys. I will see you in the next video.